Volleyball team had a bit of a rough stretch last week. Zach Aaron is here to tell us if they could right the ship this week.
Well, Chris, the Pioneers volleyball team was able to finish their season on a high note. They beat in-state NCAA Division II Shippensburg in 4 sets. The Pioneers lost the first set by a score of 25-14. Then they won the next 3 sets, 25-13, 25-23, and 25-19, respectively. The Pioneers were led in kills by Roxanne Grunmeyer with 11. She was immediately followed by Nicole Wursel with 10. That brings Wursel to 993 kills over the course of her career. If she gets 7 more, which she most likely will during the KIAC tournament, she will have 1,000 for her college career. The Pioneers were also led in assists once again by sophomore Kara Bradley with 36. This match was played against one of the better NCAA Division II teams. Shippensburg came into the match with 20 wins and 6 losses, and the Pioneers did well dominating them. So even though this game was non-conference, it was a very good win. This win puts the Pioneers at 19-18 overall and 8-3 in the conference, so they will have a winning record this season. They now have the next week and a half off until they go to Midway College for the KIAC tournament, where they will be the 5th seed. Their opponent is yet to be determined, but the Pioneers have had a history of success against conference rivals, so they are certainly contenders for the tournament title.
Zach, the team finishes on a winning note. How big is that for them moving into this KIAC tournament?
It's very big moving into the KIAC tournament for them because Shippensburg, like I said, was a very good team, and NCAA Division II volleyball is very tough, especially in the PSAC that Shippensburg and most other Pennsylvania state schools play in. So to get a win over a team like Shippensburg, who's leading the PSAC right now, will really do them well and prepares them well for some of the talent they'll see in conference and possibly nationals.
Now, Zach, you look at this volleyball team has a very young roster for the most part, only a couple seniors and juniors. How big is it for them to really get this experience and go into the KIAC with such a young roster?
It's really great to see so many young players getting the experience they've gotten. The Pioneers are such a young team. They have Kara Bradley as a sophomore, but she's dominating the team in assists. And then you have Roxanne Grunmeyer, Shiloh Simonson, who's played extremely well this season. And all these players that are coming up big for the Pioneers are really giving the Pioneers that edge they need. And the best part is, come 2 or 3 years when they're juniors or seniors, they'll really have they'll have one of the best teams in the KIAC, if not the country, because then they'll have even more experience.
Now we'll keep Zach right here as he pulls double duty tonight and gives us this week's women's basketball report.
This past Saturday against the Madonna University Crusaders, who are a receiving votes team for the NAIA rankings. This game was their first home game, but was not played at their usual home court. The game was played at Penn State's Greater Allegheny campus. Madonna was ranked 32 and Point Park was ranked 39. The Pioneers fought a hard battle that went back and forth for the duration, but in the end, they came away with the win by a score of 77-74. Point Park had 4 of their starters score in double figures. Leading the Pioneers in scoring was Katrisa Savitsky with 19 points. Savitsky's performance earned her the KIAC Player of the Week award. Freshman forward Carly Force had a double-double with 17 points and 10 rebounds. Teresa Davis had 12.7 rebounds and 4 assists, and Carly DiPetro had 10 points. The first half was evenly matched throughout, with the score being 39-34 at halftime. At the beginning of the second half, the Pioneers quickly jumped on the Crusaders and went on an 8-2 run and built the lead as high as 16 points before the Crusaders rallied back to tie it up with 8.5 minutes left. The rest of the game from that point was back and forth, but Point Park persevered and ended up winning. The Pioneers were able to spread the offensive attack very well. Coach Grenick had an interesting strategy using rapid substitutions. About every 2 minutes, there was a substitution. Also, every time Point Park made one, Madonna would match them up with one. It was just one of the ways to keep players from tiring out in such a fast-paced game. Both teams had quick possessions, so these subs needed to be made. That win will bring the Pioneers to 2-0. Those wins were against two very good teams, but Point Park seems to have all the right strategies going for them. Looking ahead, their next game will be in Ohio against Mount Vernon Nazarene on Saturday.
Now, Zach, you look at it, they did win the game by scoring 77, but Coach Grenick really likes to keep teams under 60. How big is it for them to really allow 74 points if they're really going to be the defensive-minded team that we have seen over the last few seasons?
Yeah, I mean, they did a very good job at controlling the defense despite the fact. Keep in mind, the Crusaders only shot about 32% from the field during the game. So with how many shots they took, it was such a fast-paced game. A lot of points were expected. So I think if I'm Coach Grenick, I'm very happy that they won, especially because they're a higher-ranked team and they're very talented. So it was very good to see them win.
Thanks very much, Zach. When we come back, Kelsey Metzger updates us on national sports, and Phil Novotzik will be here to give us this week's men's basketball report. You're watching the Pioneer Sideline here on UView.